Hey y'all, this is Anna Alexander. Welcome back to my bedroom as we are returning to Season 3, Episode 9 of Black Sails. And before we get into it, I needed to take a moment because I feel I did not show enough oohs and ahs and appreciation in the previous episode of the scene, which was the rescue of Jack Rackham, which then became the capture of Charles Vane. I recognized that it was a one shot way too late when it was a one shot. It wasn't until I went back to rewatch it that I saw just when that whole sequence began. And it was crazy pants. So I just wanted to say an extra kudos, good job, holy shit. Stunt crew, amazing. The directing, amazing. The stunt crew, amazing. The actors, amazing. The choreographers, amazing. The stunt crew, amazing. Camera guys, amazing. And the stunt crew, amazing. I have been of the belief for many decades that stunt crew and stunt work needs to have an award somewhere. There needs to be an Oscar, Golden Globe, Emmy, because that shit is not easy and it takes talent and discipline and skill to pull it off so seamlessly. These people need to be recognized. So when exactly it began, I'm not sure, because at one moment you had Rogers hitting Jack and then you see Jack slump. So do they take out Jack, then replace him with dummy? Because we saw the actor who plays Rogers, climb out of the carriage, climb onto the back of the carriage. Eventually, when carriage flips and flips, we know Jack isn't in the carriage. So when did it actually begin? And then you had to get the horses. And then you had to get horses attached to rampaging carriage. That, brilliant, lovely. And the thing is that it was so brilliant and lovely, I was lost in the story and not oohing and ahhing over what needed to go in, what went into putting that together, because it was so seamless. So what are we gonna get next? We gotta rescue Charles. Horny Gold is barreling down on the walrus. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. But yeah, so thank you so much for being with me. I'm going to get under the big cozy comfy blanket. My beverage this evening is the strawberry lemonade because it's a Tuesday for me. And I got work in the morning at the day job. Let me know what you're drinking. Let me know where you are. I have seen people comment from all over the world and it's amazing and I love it. We are a global community and I'm glad that I'm a part of it with you. So also, Patreon. You can watch this full episode with me on Patreon. I would love to see you there. Okay, y'all. So if you're ready, I am ready. And let's get to it. The cause of everyone's troubles. This is a classic case of careful what you wish for, huh?
I noticed that you've logged it. Do you mind me asking who has the key?
Neptune. Threw it over the side a few hours ago.
Okay.
If your man is unsuccessful in seeing to his rescue Charles Vane's death, it's inside that box, along with my good name.
His most prized possession.
All the awful sacrifices made to assemble that box are now part of its contents, and those things are sacred things that I trust in no man's hands.
So, how have you been? She reading a proclamation of his hanging.
I, Charles Vane, do hereby plead guilty to the charges of treason and high seas piracy. It is my hope that in exchange for this plea, I might be spared the humiliation of a public trial, and that my execution be carried out privately and mercifully.
No.
Will you be boarded onto the Shark and sent to London to face a court of the Admiralty? Refuse to sign it, and your experience will be anything but.
a lot can happen between there and London.
You came all the way down here to ask me to beg for mercy.
You really didn't know him punkin', did you?
The only crime of mine that angers you is the one that no one else cared enough about to even call a crime. Am I wrong?
Oh!
Is the murder of Richard Guthrie mentioned anywhere on that page?
Oh! Ow!
So you found the lowest, cruelest, weakest deed imaginable and acted it out upon an innocent man with whom you had no quarrel.
Guthrie wasn't really that innocent.
He was a cowardly, selfish, treacherous shit who cared only for himself and for you not at all. You know this. Tells you I'm your enemy, and just like that, his love is sacred and mine is a inconvenient obstacle to your ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
The life cycle of your affections.
Mm-hmm.
A man you love, who speaks the truth, shunted aside in favor of the next who will tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah, he knows her pretty well.
He betrayed you, Eleanor. When my men brought him to me first, he begged for mercy. Promised to exchange your life for his. And you know it's true.
Struck a nerve, did he? Do you feel better now? She has the right to be angry. She has the right to be angry. But he was right.
Because there is no goodness in you. There is no humanity in you. No capacity for compromise. Nor instinct toward repair.
I have a thought.
Nor progress. Nor forgiveness.
I disagree.
Nassau is moving on from you, and so am I.
Well, obviously, when she took Abigail, however, he compromised with Vane. Not with Vane. He is Vane. He compromised with Flint. He said, nope, we're not leaving Jack behind. He has some ability to feel for others.
I can find him. He was fine a few hours ago.
He collapsed after you left. I believe his fever is worsening.
Oh, is he also sick as well as injured? Oh.
But until I'm able to recover my health, I'll ask that all information you need to relay to me be done through Miss Guthrie here.
I beg your pardon, my lord.
On this issue, I need no counsel, Mr. Soames. Thank you.
Is Rogers gonna die by malaria? I'm using that as the general term for whatever illness is, whatever fever is taking over them.
Mr. de Groot, depth at 14 fathom.
Are they gonna try to run Horny Gold aground?
He was carrying out the order, so I have to hope he sees some credibility in it.
That or he doesn't know how to say no to both of us at the same time.
Yes.
You still see some credibility in the idea, don't you? Are you fucking kidding me? When I offered this suggestion, I told you it was just a suggestion. You said it would work.
So neither of them was certain. They're just going with the other.
In the absence of any better suggestions, yours was worth a try.
Why isn't he reducing sail?
Or is he gonna run himself ashore?
Hard to port, Mr. Williamson.
Aye, sir.
Let fall the starboard anchor. Take courses and take gallants. Starboard anchor.
Are they doing like a quick turnaround?
Let fall the stern anchor. Ready for impact.
Oh, so they're just gonna... his plan?
Open the gun ports.
They're gonna fire on him.
Bring us up the coast, we'll deploy our men onto the sand, free of his great guns, and then march them into...
Oh, that's their island. That's their island.
Jesus.
So he just led them to their island. Oh. Oh? Oh. Oh.
And we're the last man to stand up and defy England is about to be shipped back there to be hanged. And exactly no one seems to give a shit about it. The first order of business, for which I will need your help, is rescuing Captain Vane.
Rescuing?
We force them to try him here. Buy ourselves days, maybe weeks, while they figure out a process and we find a plan to set him free.
How? How do we keep him off the ship?
I love how she's like, I'm intrigued. But they brought them to the island.
What happened to him? It was all a misunderstanding.
Yeah, Flint didn't know about that, did he?
And Dobbs assaulted him. I didn't mention it to you because... I don't know, I just didn't.
A lot of shit was going down.
Good. Sorted how?
And she is there. Eleanor is there. In a position of great influence, they say. She is one of them now. I stood in Nassau and I realized when this war begins, it will have many different meanings. You will have people on both sides of it. You will have daughters on both sides of it. And I want you to know.
Only you.
So you have permission to... Eleanor?
You have information about the identity of the spy within our midst.
It's Adele.
Mm-hmm. Well, that shouldn't be hard to figure out.
Will you tell her? Miss Guthrie, will you inform her of our suspicions about the source of the leak?
When the time is right?
But Featherstone says he's one of the most gifted purveyors of bullshit he's ever met. And a man determined, above anything else in life, to be famous. Which makes him the perfect fit for us. The governor wants them to believe that Charles Vane is the cause of all their ill. His task is to start reminding everyone there's someone else out there that they're far more comfortable hating.
Who?
The British government. Oh, Eleanor. Eleanor specifically? I want to root for Eleanor, but she has made it impossible.
What is he saying?
That the law and order promised by the new regime is little more than a veneer, behind which Eleanor Guthrie has returned to settle old scores and restore her tyranny over Nassau once again.
Well, that's a good...
That if he is to be tried, it must be here, in the open, where they can see it with their own eyes.
Fucking kidding me.
If the alternative is an armed clash between those men and the dozens of soldiers it would take to subdue them, a little time spent confronting the past may be the lesser evil.
But also, would also just prove his point. And Billy is so tall, nobody notices him in town.
In this particular instance, you would be wise to make sure whatever happens to Captain Vane, those men have no reason to believe it happened because of you.
Whatever happens will be the governor's decision, of course.
Right.
I've never given a damn what people think of me. But I give a damn what you think.
I think Eleanor cared what people thought. I think she just also didn't give a shit at the same time. Like, I care, but what I want is more than how you feel about me. So I'll just lash out and be even more stronger and badass.
Any news? They say it shouldn't be long now before Mr. Scott leaves us.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
We need to talk about that.
What about it?
We're about to enter into a battle where every man must be behind us, as any man with motive not to be so could sink us. It would seem that you have made sure that he has one. So you sent the Vanguard to make sure that he understood this.
To prevent him from getting any ideas about doing it again. Yes.
And did he understand it?
I'd hazard the guess that you learned of what had happened, told him how fucking stupid he was, and in that moment, he gave you a look that amounted to something less than contrite. And in that moment, you felt it.
Felt what?
Darkness. You heard a voice telling you that disciplining him would prevent him from repeating the offense. The most compelling lies are comprised almost entirely of the truth. And the more you deny its presence, the more powerful it gets. And the more likely it is.
I have so many thoughts right now.
You must learn to know its presence well, so that you may use it, rather than it use you.
I can't tell if this was a warning or a welcome.
Yes. When Flint teaches John about pirating, and Mr. Scott's gone. Mr. Scott's gone. When Flint teaches John about pirating and leadership, oh, it's so good. But my thought is, do you wait until the battle begins and take out Dobbs yourself as if he was shot down by the enemy and just been done with it?
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
I had a feeling a hug was gonna be in here at some point.
The governor has scrapped his plans to move Captain Vane off the island and then scheduled an accelerated trial for the captain here in Nassau.
Shit. When have they scheduled it to begin?
In the middle of the night. Last night. It's already happened. They mean to hang him today.
What? Is this when you start a riot? Is this when you start a riot?
The governor is still in need of bed rest, but Dr. Marcus will inform us when that situation changes. Gentlemen?
But as your friend, I am simply asking you to consider how treacherous this road may be, while there is still time to avoid it.
This is no attempt to circumvent the law. Indeed, the governor felt that it was necessary in order to protect it. It was a hard choice, but an earnest one.
Such a liar! She's such a liar. This dude! They sent this dude. Ooh, look, it's maggot free.
I assume you understand what is to happen as soon as everything begins. It'll be loud, confusing. In this moment, you have the opportunity to enter into that moment with a clear conscience. To repent.
I have nothing to repent for with you.
Don't you?
Whatever remorse I have or do not have is my own. That I choose not to share it with you says more about you than it does about me.
I am a shepherd, sent to help you find a path to God's forgiveness.
Shepherd, you are the sheep.
You're meant to take my lead. Hopefully it'll be enough to start a frenzy, cause enough confusion that it breaks the ranks of the soldiers. Then the chaos of it will make a move to free Captain Vane.
Shut
Today marks the silencing of the most disruptive of those voices, and a step towards the return of civilization in Nassau. However strong the need for the removal of these traitors, these...
What does Billy see in his face? Billy sees something.
Wait.
And that God's will be done again in...
He doesn't want to be. He wants to be a martyr?
These men who brought me here today do not fear me. They brought me here today because they fear you. Because they know that my voice, the voice that refuses to be enslaved, once lived in you, and may yet still. We are many. They are few. To fear death is a choice, and they can't hang us all. Get on with it, motherfucker. It's all right.
Is he gonna martyr himself out? For reals? For reals? For reals?
No.
What? They're helping him along. Okay. 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 But to end it, okay, to make it a little bit more merciful. Is that really what?
Why? It was the only way to start it.
What?
You knew it was the only way.
Start what?
The resistance in Nassau is now underway.
For reals. I don't know how I feel. I don't need to see this. Did we need this really? Did we need this really? I don't think so.
That chest of ours only gets heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I walked that beach today. The terrain inland may be to our advantage, but that beach is not. Even with defensive positions engineered in the bluffs, it'll be an uphill struggle to offer any meaningful resistance at all to their landings. But there is an aspect to this particular struggle I don't believe you've yet cracked.
Is he planning on Swiss Family Robinson it and go up to the top of the hill?
I understand your tactical deployment of the walrus. I also understand you intend to place your Mr. de Groot in command of her.
Jack wants to be in command.
It was supposed to be Charles, wasn't it?
Are you suggesting a better replacement?
Me. There is too much of him in me for England to fully will him away. In his absence, with everything that is at stake, I will be our Charles Vane.
Well, this is an interesting pairing. I'm still in shock right now.
Captain Hornigold will be sailing in consort with you, accompanied by his private militia. Mr. Underhill has formed a special company of men from the ranks of his plantation staff.
Did he now?
Men with experience hunting and capturing slaves. For we will have victory against this enemy. There simply is no alternative.
That's a lot of ships. Is news reaching Teach now? This news got around fast.
The word is spreading throughout the Bahamas that the governor in Nassau hanged a pirate in the square. He is resolved to be the Englishman who ends piracy in the New World. The pirate he hanged in the square, to underscore his point, was Charles Vane. What do you want to do about it?
It's going to take me a while to process this episode, because how do we have Black Sails without Charles Vane? Character that I was, especially season 1. But when he was in the cell with the preacher, whatnot, Charles was a pirate. Yes, he was bloodthirsty, cutthroat. I don't know if easy to anger, but he held grudges. However, you knew exactly where you stood with him. You do not anger Charles Vane. And to see him go out, that was prolonged. That was painful. Quiet. He just stepped off. What do we do without Charles Vane? What does Jack do without Charles Vane? What does Teach do about Charles Vane? I don't know what else happened in this episode. I'm just focused on that last bit there. And then we lost Mr. Scott. We lost Mr. Scott as well. Two very powerful forces. One a little bit more outwardly so than the other. What does their passing push forward? Well, we know piracy lasts long enough for John to become Long John Silver and notorious in his own right. So we know whatever happens, piracy isn't over anytime soon. Jack still has time to get his legacy up there. And does Governor Rogers, does he survive the fever? And if he does, what is he going to do to Eleanor? I'm going to process now. I need to process. How did you all process this? How did you process this? Or are you still reeling? Holy crap. Okay. Let me know. Let me know how you feel. I'm distraught. Okay. Well, there we go. Episode, I don't know what this is anymore. Episode whatever. 9. We've got a season finale left to come. So do not be a stranger. Hit subscribe so you know when that finale drops. I want you there with me. And until then, process. Hug yourself. Stretch. Drink some water. Eat a vegetable. And then come back and watch the next video in the queue. So thanks again, y'all. And until next time. I think I need hugs. I'm upset.